This is the final of the women's 200-meter individual medley SM7. World record holder Mallory Weggemann goes in this race, 2:48.43, her world record. Paralympic record is certainly looking in danger, if not the world record itself. Women's 200-meter IM medley SM7 features 8 competitors, 3 from USA, 2 from Canada, 1 each from Great Britain, Ukraine and Colombia. Going for Colombia in lane 8 is 17-year-old Pan American Games champion Sara Vargas, a 3:10.43 in qualifying. 13-year-old Iona Winnifrith goes for Great Britain in lane 1. She's the European Championships gold medalist, a 3:10.16 in the qualifiers. Going in lane 7 for USA is Morgan Stickney, the 27-year-old two-time Paralympic Games gold medalist, 3-time world champion, but all in freestyle events, looking to challenge in the IM. Veronika Korzhova goes for Ukraine in lane 2, the 16-year-old who picked up silver at the European Championships. She was disqualified in the final of the 2023 World Championships when she looked really good for a place on the podium. Julia Gaffney goes in lane 6 for the United States of America. The 24-year-old was a backstroke and freestyle medalist in Tokyo, twice a world champion. 4th in Tokyo was Canadian Danielle Dorris, the 21-year-old excellent fly and backstroker, goes in lane 3. She'll be looking for a strong opening 100 in this race. Going for Canada in lane 5 is the Rio silver medalist who missed Tokyo 2020, Tess Routliffe, the 25-year-old in the first of her 4 events in Paris. The world champion going in 5. But is she back to her best? The defending champion and world record holder, Mallory Weggemann, the 35-year-old, 5-time Paralympic Games medalist, bronze at the Pan American Games, but I remind you, it was her first competition back after giving birth to her daughter Charlotte. 2:57 in qualifying. Weggemann commanding in every stroke. Routliffe supreme in the breaststroke. Dorris is going to be strong in the opening 100 as well, and there are going to be challenges from Gaffney, Stickney, Korzhova even.
That's right. Weggemann's so powerful during the preliminaries. And, you know, it'll be interesting. Can she go anywhere close to that 2:54? That's the time that won gold. And there are a lot of people in this heat that would like to upset her.
We've seen more than just a few upsets already in the pool at Paris 2024. Some big upsets in qualifying for the finals for this session. This is about 4 lengths of the pool in each of the 4 strokes. And it's the women's 200 individual medley SM7 final.
Take your marks.
Getting away brilliantly, Mallory Weggemann, and so too Tess Routliffe of Canada goes alongside her in lane 5. Now, Danielle Dorris should be leading the way through the opening leg, which is 50 meters of butterfly, then into backstroke, then into breaststroke, and then into the front crawl to finish. Dorris is not leading by a commanding margin here. Indeed, Weggemann is showing her strength and prowess in the stroke. As she comes up to the wall at 50, she's in front.
Right, and Mallory Weggemann is very good in all 4 strokes. It's a great first 50, 35.11. That is faster than she went out this morning, and now she comes into backstroke. Now, what's interesting here is that some of the swimmers in the SM7 category, they will drop down a class going into breaststroke because it's such a leg-heavy stroke. If any of them remain as an SB7, though, they're going to have an advantage. And here is Weggemann. She's stroking, she's rotating, very clean. She's now past Danielle Dorris, and she's about a body length ahead. The race now is on at the moment. Well, after, of course, they turn into breaststroke, but the race is on for 2nd and 3rd.
Oh, this is where Tess Routliffe will come into her own. She is a supreme breaststroker, and she'll be getting to the wall 4th as it stands. Weggemann will touch at the 100 mark in 1:18.80 as she heads into the breaststroke leg. 2nd is Gaffney, and Dorris is 3rd, but Dorris doesn't have the strongest final 100 in this race over the breaststroke, and indeed the front crawl, although she can finish quickly. It's Weggemann leading the way.
That's right, and watch out for Tess Routliffe. She has a wonderful breaststroke. She's going to come, she's sitting in 4th right now, but here she comes starting to pass the rest of the field. Watch Weggemann though. She basically has a skull with her breaststroke. That's what she's doing. She's not breathing every single stroke. That allows her to turn over her hands faster, but it becomes incredibly hard the last 10, 25 meters because you start to really tighten up in the shoulders. So what Weggemann has to do, and of course she drops down a class in the breaststroke, is make sure to stay ahead of Danielle Dorris, and here comes Tess Routliffe.
So Tess Routliffe with another brilliant breaststroke leg in the IM. She'll touch second behind Weggemann, who's looking for the gold here. It's Dorris who is 3rd. Canada potentially 2 on the podium, but USA might have something to say about that, particularly through Gaffney. Weggemann leading up toward the 25-meter mark. She's in front. Routliffe, with a very high stroke rate as well, is closing in on Weggemann, but there is plenty of room between the two swimmers to see Weggemann close out victory in this race. Mallory Weggemann, the world record holder, commanding in the fly in the backstroke, and while Routliffe made up ground in the breaststroke, in the front crawl, Weggemann is not going to be denied, and she touches in Paralympic record time. Weggemann is champion again. Routliffe touches for a superb silver, and the bronze is going to go to Gaffney as Dorris finds herself fading in the closing 50. USA have a 1 and 3, but Routliffe in between with a great silver 8 years on from her silver in Rio. Mallory Weggemann, a very solid performance. Her 2:48 world record, maybe a stretch too far, but a 2:53.29 leaves her in front, well, by nearly 4 seconds over Routliffe.
Such a swim for Mallory. You see, she doesn't get off the block first, and she doesn't get anything on the underwater. But what she does do is she gets right into her stroke. Here she is coming off the block, goes right into the streamline. And then here, when the swimmer doesn't have an underwater, it is so important that you get right into the stroke. And that's what Mal does. She also doesn't breathe every stroke, which is key on the fly. She has to maintain it. She can't keep braking to get more oxygen. She needs to keep powering through. And Mal has a great fly. Then she comes into the backstroke, and you saw Danielle Dorris was out way ahead, and she kept pace with Mallory during the backstroke. Now, of course, once we get into the breaststroke, Mallory does what's basically a skull, and she keeps her hands out in front of her. She doesn't breathe every stroke, which allows her to keep up the momentum and to turn over the hands faster, and then she gets into the freestyle. She doesn't have a kick behind her, but what she did do is she got such a commanding lead over Tess Routliffe that it basically was impossible to catch her. Not basically, it was impossible to catch her. And she comes home 2:53.29 with a new Paralympic record. I think Mallory will be celebrating tonight with her new baby daughter.
With Charlotte, yes, indeed, she will. Julia Gaffney, though, claiming a brilliant bronze. 3:03 was going to be a good time for her to beat. She went 3:01.27 to finish 3rd. Iona Winnifrith swam a 3:03 and touched just outside the medals.